In this video, we're going to speak to the power of your story. Your story is your power. Everyone has a story. All of the challenges, the wins, the losses have shaped you and your journey. And people need to hear that. People may get inspired from your journey. I oftentimes get asked to go into organizations, to work with companies, with leaders and so on, to help bring more awareness, unity to teams and so on. And one of the things I often get them to do is to start doing more storytelling exercises. Now, the reason I really encourage people to take the time to actually engage in meaningful conversations is because when you know people and their challenges, their struggles, to be in the room sitting with you across that table and talking and conversing with them, you start knowing about, maybe they have a family. Maybe they are by themselves. Maybe they had to come from a different country. Maybe they come from a reserve and so on. When you take the time to understand them, their challenges, what got them there, and you flip that table around and they give you the floor to do the same thing, what tends to happen is people start to develop more meaningful connections. When you develop more meaningful connections, you develop more friendships in the workplace, outside the workplace, especially in a company. When you're dealing with change, with conflict, with opportunities, if you don't know each other on that human-to-human basis, that personal level, you're going to struggle when opportunities come and when conflicts arise. It's inevitable. Everyone goes through them. But when you understand each other, when you're taking the time to understand each other's story, where people come from, their challenges to get to that moment, you'll be in a better position to handle them more effectively. You'll waste less time. This is important to engage in meaningful conversations. I remember being a summer student many years back, and I remember the coffee breaks were very unmeaningful. Many a times it was discussing politics and all the stuff that we had no control over. And it became very negative, very toxic, and that would overflow into the productivity of the rest of the workday. And I remember going through that, be like, man, I used to dread the coffee breaks because of it was going to be another complaint fest. What if we were to structure those into more meaningful conversations where people actually had a time to make their voice heard? This could be very powerful. Now, people often say, well, I don't think my story is interesting. Everyone has an interesting story. I always tell people that the story that you tell, I always say, try to find a turning point event in your life. Something that, it's almost like you're reading those childhood books where you can pick your ending, option A or option B. We all kind of go through that. We have something that came into our life. It could have been a positive, a negative scenario, where it could have been like this road or this road. But you chose this road and this is what happened. Tell those stories. I oftentimes tell the story of Johan and his family, how they helped me. They paid for my soccer fee, drove me to games and practices, really empowered me. I talk about the coaches in my life that have really had a positive impact on me. I talk about when I first got up to speak and I stumbled and fell down those stairs. Those are stories that we all have, those type of similar stories where we've struggled through things. Some of us have gone through hardships. Your story is your power. When you lend your voice to others, when you share the things you've gone through, you don't know what the other person on the other end of that table is going through. You may help them in a positive way just by you sharing your story, sharing the things that you've gone through, your insights. Everyone is going through something in their life, or has gone through or will go through something in their life. When we lend our story, when we share meaningful things that have happened to us and lessons and so on, we can really help change this world, our families, our friends, our relationships, and our workplaces. Develop more meaningful connections by the power of your story.